All right, y'all, what's going on? What's going on? We live. Greg said it. Come on in. If you're live, if you're catching the replay, appreciate y'all coming through on this weekly live here. Shout out to those who contact me. We have our defeatcable.com, which is our call our sponsorship here with our Tanggula box. As you see scrolling at the bottom, it's one of the best kept secrets. It's something that I use. People ask, "Do you actually use it?" Yeah, I have people contact me about it, and we actually have some people here who can tell you about how they use it. Actually, some have more than one, so definitely check that out. If you're looking to defeat cable, get rid of cable, paying that expensive cable every month. Also having more channels, more everything. Make sure y'all check that out. You see in the upper left corner there, defeatcable.com. That'll take you right to the page. If you want more information, check that out. But here we are. I think it's officially our off season. So speaking of that, I see I had the wrong thing scrolling there. Give me some 1 second here. What's going on? If you're in the chat, y'all, we are finally hitting the off season. It's crazy to me because last year this time it was like, of course, the season was shorter. Everything was, I don't know. It ended on a weird way. I think they stole the game in Utah, and we kind of went into the off season with the hopes. I mean, we knew Shador and Travis was coming back, so it was like we was building on something, that we felt okay. They're going to be better. We're going to get better players. We're going to get better linemen. The whole narrative last year was about we need better linemen, so we're going to have better linemen, better this, better that, and that was the thing. Well, now this year is different because a lot of our core players are going to be gone. Travis is going to be gone. Shador is going to be gone. Shiloh's not coming back for another year. Silman Craig is going to be gone. So it's going to be a really, really, really different type situation because you're building on a new foundation now. Your foundation is going to be different. Yeah, you build on top of success as far as what the team has done over the last couple of years, as far as revamping the Colorado program, as far as the exposure and all of that for the community. I mean, you build on that, but as far as I guess the pillars, not the foundation, the pillars of the team have changed. Absolutely, happy New Year, y'all! I think this is our first live of the new year, so happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year. We don't made it through Christmas and New Year. And I can't say it went fast, but I can't say it went slow. But we got a lot of new things to come. So we just gonna have to keep an eye. I know it's a lot of new guys coming in. We got a lot of new linemen coming in. I see we got another brother pair with the Slater brothers, got another linebacker coming in. That's gonna be a big area. I mean, Benson was decent. You got to replace him. You see what it looked like without Hill Green out there. I knew that was going to be a challenge. What's going on? Hill Green wasn't there, so we saw what the defense looked like. It's important. I think Colorado, even as good as Hill Green and Bentley played this year, I feel like the linebacker core was the difference in when they played well and when the linebacker core didn't necessarily show up and play like they should. The team looked totally different. I mean, as far as the run game, they couldn't stop the run. I don't know how anybody think you can stop the run without linebackers. It's called linebacker for a reason. I also feel like when the season started, I thought the depth was going to be good. I didn't really put a lot of weight on like a Trevor Wood, but I thought he would be like a different type of piece there. But when you look at like Trevor Woods and Jeremiah Brown, it was like okay, the defense gonna have some hybrid look to it, so that'd be fine. Then we brought in little Wester. And I said we have some diversity in our looks, but I think the biggest thing that we run into is I don't feel like Colorado had the depth. Like when I look at Georgia Tech, like I have a cousin that played at Georgia Tech. I feel like they had so many linebackers rotating. They had about 4, 5 linebackers playing, probably more than that played rotated in and out with packages or whatever, but they were in and out. And I feel like a lot of times we wanted to like stick with Hill Green and Bentley. And I think the only time we really kind of switched out is like maybe on third down. We did, especially sometimes we run like a single linebacker. And I'm like, none of them linebackers were built for that to cover that whole middle space by themselves. And then sometimes they even blitz them. So we had nobody in the middle of the field. So I feel like we really didn't we had all these linebackers and maybe they went up to par. I know we seen them when they got in like in garbage time, like with Gant and all of those guys got in, but they really got to ramp up the linebacker play. I mean, I know that Hood was good in high school. They got the Hood cousin that was there. I know we just got Marquez Walker from Georgia, from played at Buford, decent sized linebacker. He's gonna be a freshman. I know he's coming in. I know Goldberg was there. I don't know quite what he looked like. I think we had another linebacker who was more of a smaller size who was good in high school. I think it was Garcia. I think it was Garcia. So we had some young linebackers out there that didn't play. Maybe they were developing. I don't know. But linebacker got to be tightened up. And it just can't be just put somebody out there running past people, arm tackling. They got to be some people like on the Hill Green level. Like they all got to be at least on the Hill Green level to think you finna play in this conference because these people are going to be running the ball. They're going to be running the ball and their quarterback's going to be running. And we are in a situation where we're going to be more like everybody else now than different. My biggest talking point has been that Colorado is going to be a unique team because of Shador. And, you live and die by that. I mean, they didn't have no pure passers nowhere but Shador. I think Cam Rising maybe could have been one, but he never made it through. But he likes to run more. That's how he get hurt. But Shador was a pure passer. He was a pure Pac-12 prototype quarterback. And now we went and got a Slater, which I believe would end up being a starter, let Juju develop. I mean, Juju's already come out of school a year early, but it's just good to have two quality quarterbacks because we held our breath hoping Shador don't get hurt because everybody else lost a quarterback or two during the season. So that's the positive part about it. But Slater, he can throw it. His accuracy, I don't know, but he can throw it deep. It's like he throw off his back foot. I mean, on his front foot, and but he can run the ball 800,000 yards too. So he's a lot like what the other quarterbacks wanted to do. He's a lot like what we seen up there at Kansas State. He's a lot like what those quarterbacks was doing at Central Florida. Maybe a little better passer than in Central Florida, maybe even a little better than Kansas State. But the style is similar. These Big 12 and the modern quarterback. I remember Michael Vick played. They dogged Michael Vick out so bad from running. Stay in the pocket, stay in the pocket. And now it's like 20 years later, it's like the quarterbacks that do what Vick did are the most esteemed, and they're almost a necessity. Like, I see what Daniels did against the Falcons the other week, and it was like, oh, if he didn't run the ball, they would have lost. He knew he needed at least to run the ball. You need to learn from him. Then you look at my boy over there, and at Baltimore, and you start thinking like maybe they are pushing quarterbacks to be more hybrid now, just to have that extra pair of legs than to really push them to be a pure pocket passer. I don't know if that's a thing of the past, but I know Shador is still more of a pure pocket passer, but he'll run a little bit. This guy we getting now, he's gonna run a lot more than Shador. They probably even have designated runs, and maybe that'll help with some of that blitzing. Because I used to always push, especially last year. I call it run Shador run. Anybody watched me? No, I said run Shador run. Because they load up the box and they come into the outside. They come and kind of try to trap them in, and the middle be open a lot. Just take off, find a scene and take off. They let them know that you're a threat. You're a threat to run the ball. Because if not, they just gonna try to pin you and trap you in the box, and you know you'll run out of time because your line is collapsing as we see. Let me see here. Without Seaton, yeah, possibly. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to pin it all on the line because I think play calling is a big part of it. Scheme is a big part of it. I've seen some weird schemes at times, like when Nebraska, when they was trying to trap block and all that, and they got us run right in the backfield, hit your doors. Like, y'all not built for that. Like, you got to build according to what your line can do. And yeah, I mean, I was right here in Atlanta with Vic. They dogged him out, and he run all over people, and they made like it was a negative, you know. So I think that the biggest thing that we want to see, I hear a big debate of people saying Colorado's going to run a lot more. I think that would be the case anyway, because I mean, Shador, you trying to like quote unquote play with your strengths, and I always said that was their strength, especially in this conference, to outthrow them. That's if they could block. I think a lot of times Shador took sacks and called sacks instead of throwing the ball away, but I think he could have been helped with that at the same time if the scheme was better. I look at some of those routes. I'm gonna give y'all an example. I watched some tape, and I don't know what kind of. I understand these. Forget the name of these concepts where you kind of like you run off the corner, right, and then you have, let's say we're running trips, and both of our inside receivers are running outs, and it's like one of them going to be open, right? One of them going to be open, and it's up to Shador to read or have time to read which one is going to be open, depending on if that linebacker get out there or who that slot, who that nickel jumps, right? Does he take the middle or does he take the one close to the inside? And I think about a lot of those routes, those I don't even think we did a lot of wheel routes. I think we did a lot of screens. I think we did a lot of underneath screens, bubble, tunnel, whatever you want to call them. But I don't think we did a lot of wheel routes. I don't think we did a lot of things that were done to us, to other teams, to put pressure on them. And I also think that when you running both of those receivers to out, a lot of times they be in the same place. Like their route running was not as strong far as creating space between the coverage, because they be a lot of times their routes was in the same place where pretty much one person could cover two players. And also I think it made it harder for Shador to read unless it was like a goal, that was your go-to on that route. And I think that when you get pressure up the middle, when your lineman can't pick up the stunts and things like that, and you trying to read between is that linebacker jumping that route or not, and they both running out routes. They running away from him one, so that's a harder route to throw. And you cautious of that because you like, you put that ball up, that's a pick, which we seen at times where you throwing these out routes, and that boy, he don't know how to come back to the ball. He don't know how to whatever. He don't know how to create separation. He don't know how to use his body. That can be a pick. So I don't know if he was really comfortable. I wouldn't be comfortable with throwing to the further side of the field with both my receivers running the same area, and they not. And I also seen a lot of times receivers didn't get proper depth on the route. I didn't see them really get, like it'd be 3rd and 8, and they'll run a 6-yard route, and then you still end up 4th and 2. There's some things that I don't know what to put it on. What y'all think? I don't know what to put on. I think it'll be more productive up on a different quarterback because it'll be more balanced. It will make more people step up to the plate. For example, I think that Shador was considered a pro-style quarterback. He was considered a person who is on another level compared to other quarterbacks. And that problem is, if he's on another level, his receivers also got to be on another level. And that's where you find him going back with receivers, expecting them to do certain things, expecting them to run certain routes, expecting them to to do certain things where he will hold on to the ball too long because he expecting the receiver to go out and they go in, or not just running the wrong route, but just expectation far as receiver knowing what he wants or what he sees. And if he's on that level and his receiver not on that level, now he holding on to the ball, expecting a certain break, and then instead of throwing it away, he preserving his percentage. I don't know, and he's holding the ball, and he gets set. And like you got a line now. I must be real. Cam Ward sit there in that, he'll just sit there in that pocket like this. When we watch other teams we played, they'll just sit in that pocket sometimes. When our line wasn't getting pressure on them, it was rare that Shadua did sit in that pocket. Yeah, they was known. These players were known for running routes, short of the first down a lot. Like that's why you would see it. And the DB ain't tripping. The DB will let you catch it. He'll let you catch it 1 or 2 yards short. You're not running the routes to the proper depth. You wasting it, and then you're not getting first down. I've seen running backs say, we don't run the ball, we don't run the ball. They bouncing the ball out, trying to go for the home run instead of getting the first down. You get us in a short yardage situation where we can't convert. A lot of times, not one time, a lot of times, even in the last game. And our little Welch was one of the main ones. He would try to bounce that thing out. The middle be wide open. He trying to bounce it out, receive it on block or whatever. And it's like, boom, we up. We 3rd and 2. It's cute. And then we don't convert. We got a punt or we go for it and don't get it. Do you know how many times Colorado missed short down conversions? Do you all know how many times Colorado missed 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, 4th and 2? That's a problem because that was a difference. And I heard somebody mention in one of the times what's going on there. Yeah, I mean, I think Shador rather pass. He'd rather get a 20-yard pass than a run, and that's the difference. But it was many games that even when Colorado won, I watched them like, okay, they struggling. I remember Arizona game in particular. I came on the live and talked about it. Like, you should be happy they won. I'm seeing them have an issue. They could have doubled their points, even though they beat the mess out of Arizona. They showed the inability in the red zone and in short yards to convert. They was happy with punts and field goals. I said, y'all need to work on that because it's gonna hurt you in the end. Surely it hurt in Kansas. Surely it hurt. I think every loss that they had short yardage stuff that they missed. I even think all the way back to Nebraska. They were kicking them field goals and stuff like that. They couldn't convert on the short yardage. That goes back to my theory. You look at my show, I got theories. I remember when Amos was coming, I said they basically going to give us the conference if they give us Amos. I remember Amos and Hill Green, and we're looking at another linebacker. But I said all we need is one linebacker, but if they give us both of them linebackers, they're in trouble. It was another linebacker from Tennessee. He ended up not coming. But I said we had Amos. Amos doggone committed and then reneged, so he can go sit on the bench at Ole Miss. And I said that was the dumbest situation and the worst situation for Colorado, because Colorado, if they had that big back like we seen at the Kansas is, and really most of the team, that big back who 230 plus, we wouldn't have had these short yardage issues. Forget the line. I watched Amos when he was at his school. His line wasn't blocking. He was creating all them big runs. I mean, his line wasn't the worst, but I'm saying they was just dynamic blocking. Amos was getting them yards because he just was a mule. If we had had that guy, we wouldn't have had no 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, because just his size alone. And that's what I think really changed the season. And I said that would have made it. That's before I even saw a game. I said, we get this guy, it's a wrap. And I think they knew that too. They paid that boy, and so he can ride the oak. Everybody think the SEC is the dream. It ain't. Now everybody's saying the SEC is a joke. Now they saying SEC is a joke because none of the SEC teams are at the big dogs now. They pass on 3rd and 2, pass on 4th and 2. Yeah, they did that in the first quarter. And, O-line just decommit because he really scared to compete because we just got a new O-line from Louisiana Tech. I hope I hope it works out. I don't know who the O-lineman is. Yeah, DJ London, he could have came. He went back to a Florida State that was horrible. Worst, the bad decision. Now some people left and it's like, Baylor was better than people thought. Yeah, Baylor caught up. Baylor spanked Kansas for us. Baylor was a sneaky team, and they probably be sneaking next year. It'll probably be even better. Would have been different. We had kept Lundy and Amos. Absolutely. We had another linebacker. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you imagine you had an Amos and Hill Green and rotated Bentley in. I think Bentley would have been more healthy down the stretch. And I think we wouldn't end up in the situation we end up in the back end where we just really had one linebacker. All of CFB been a joke this year. Yeah, I mean, this is how they got the playoffs set up. It is what it is. But my thing is, a lot of people have comments. I don't know about y'all. A lot of people have comments about why we can't get no big time lineman transfer. They always said that's hard to do. Have big time linemen to transfer from big time schools. I know we had some guys from other schools looking to come up here. Where you say Louisiana Tech and some of these smaller schools, a lot of people be concerned, and I get it because I know we went and got some. The first year we had some guys out there that came in with Sean Lewis. That was They was the man at that level, and maybe they're a man when they leave CU. I don't know, but I just know Mayers. He had a decent year. He was from a smaller program, not no big time Power 5 program. And we got one from Connecticut and stuff like that. But I'm just wondering does it translate? Hopefully it translates, because especially they had a size. We always talk about the size. We had a size, and maybe that's soften the blow. As long as you had the feet to go with it. But I just wonder if people like Benson regretted it. Even before he decided to go back to Indiana, I wonder why did he leave? Because I know that coach was trying to keep linemen there, and he kept most of the linemen there, even though he brought in a lot of players from James Madison. And I seen that Benson went his butt back to Indiana, and I saw when they had the season they had, I just wondered, do he wish he had stayed? I just wonder, as well as BJ Green did for us, to watch his old team go to get a bye in the playoff and pretty much play toe to toe with Texas. And I wonder, he feel he could have made the difference. You don't know from year to year what's gonna come, especially when you leave a school. But I just wonder, looking back at it in my mind, like I feel like Benson showed that he wish he had stayed because he hurried up and went back. I know his mom, I think, was still up there and everything. So you look at this stuff, man, these boys get on that well off and everybody looks so happy and they talk so good. And then time shows these people they don't like it like that, or they see the grass is green or whatever happened. It's amazing what time will do. You would have think that Benson would be going back. But I know Lowell Hurt is gone. I don't know who coming in or who's already there. We really don't know. We really don't know. Stepping run game, put pressure on Shador on the O-line, not establishing it. More balanced offense, whatever result in more wins. Yeah, I mean that's easy said and done because you just can't say run game and that. The run game, how they ran it was garbage. I mean their scheme. The scheme didn't fit the line. They weren't blowing nobody off the ball. It just looked it looked like they didn't try, but it also looked like what they was asking them to do, it wasn't the best fit for them. So I'm looking at how they went about it and how the run. They didn't do a lot of motion. They just put them guys on the pressure, go straight forward, and they just wasn't successful. The scheme, I'm just gonna call it the scheme. I run a scheme look different for everybody else. Now you're gonna bulldog people and put everybody at 350 plus, and just grind people down. But even with that, you got to be careful with your. You get predictable at the end of the day. Grab another player we were trying to get. They're just going to sit him on the bench. Yeah, Ole Miss, man, they ain't doing that. They ain't doing that. Ole Miss really ain't done that in a long time in that conference. They ain't really nobody like that. We finna get Emmanuel. Okay, I don't know who this guy is. Tell us who he is and what position he play. What position he play? Uh, is that why? That's why I'm disappointed. Didn't take advantage of that. Uh, I mean, we already said with the talent you had, you cannot act like that's normal when you got the first and second potential draft picks on the same team and the talent they had and the receiver core. You can't act like that happens every day. Yeah, yeah, man, they had a decent season. Um, he would have been the guy, but I guess they'd had a quarterback. I think he's worried about the quarterback. I think the quarterback came in. I think I saw Kavache Smoke when I went out there to the CU game. He was on the same plane. He went back to the game. Yeah, he flew out there when I was leaving Atlanta to go to the Kansas State game. He was on the same flight. It is what it is right here. I think this is what it is right here. Scheme, not pass scheme. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. It's hard for me to say that because if it's prime scheme, it's not the same scheme we seen in Jackson State. So I don't know how it's the prime scheme. Prime don't want to be the offensive coordinator. I don't know if it's a scheme or what, but we say it should do that. It's hard for me to say that because they didn't look like that at Jackson State. They had 1,000-yard rushers and another close one right behind. So it wasn't just a pure passing. And they had an air raid offensive coordinator, and they still had 1,000-yard rusher. Shoot, Savion Wilkerson almost had about 1,500 and then didn't really play the first couple of games. Very predictable. They said O-line, right guard, they want starter. And okay, so hey, they know what they got to do. I think realistically, I think Colorado already has some nice sized guys from what they recruited last year and what they got coming in. Even though they're young, they got a lot of guys in the mid 300 pounds. Even look at Yo-Yo. I don't know if Kirkland's still there. I know Kirkland Owens. One of them hit the portal, I believe. But both of those were some big guys. And I know Harden may come back. And I know that who's my other guy? Houston. Houston got hurt. I know them guys played this year. They was here last year. They kind of smaller, but I know a lot of those guys. You look at these freshmen that we had a couple big guys over the summer. It's gonna be some size there. I think we didn't have a whole lot of injuries at offensive line, as far as like long-term injuries, but the depth is going to be there, so they're going to hit that portal hard and probably get about 4-5 more linemen just to make sure. I don't know what Tyler Brown will try to come back. It is they're doing hitches and screen passes at Jackson State when he had 1,000 yards. Russian Coach Prime was in the hospital. Yeah, they. I don't know. I mean, they tried to say he ding and dunk. I didn't really see a lot of layered passing. Like what I'm saying, I didn't see a lot of drag routes like everybody been dragging us for the last couple of years. I didn't see a lot of in the middle layered passes. I just see a lot of out routes, two people running outs. And it was like pick one type of things. And that's not really taking advantage of the speed in the arm that we had in Shador. That's what I mean by the scheme. Like we wasn't really using the speed in the arm that we had in Shador. And I don't feel like we were stretching the field with all this Jimmy Horn and Wester and Big Shepard. I don't feel like we stretched it enough. And then I also don't think that we ate up the middle of the field. You got to think, you keep blitzing like that, like the running back. I mean, we wasn't really using the middle of that field. And I know that had a lot to do with not having a tight end. Like we had Michael Harris last year. Michael Harris. Was it Harris? Yeah. No, this baseball player. Mikey. What was Mikey's last name last year? Tight end. I don't forgot that quite. I don't cross his name with other people. I think it was Harris. And he did exceptionally well. They say he wasn't big enough. He didn't block. He was a walk on, but he really, really helped that offense out last year. I thought that when we brought in Mateo, which ended up going to Arizona State, did all right. He was a bigger size guy. Like he got bigger. And I thought we was gonna really put in that work, even though we lost our tight end coach. I thought that we was gonna really put in that work because we needed somebody to eat up that middle of the field who can release off that line when they bring out that blitzing, somebody that can read and go sit in the middle of the field and get open. Because Harrison, Michael Harrison. Yeah, I mean, when they really keyed in on our receivers, it was hard for them to cover Michael Harrison. So I feel like, and I also feel like Barcelona should have been offensive coordinator after. If he didn't let him do it right off, I feel like he should have let him come in. I think he was the best coordinator. I don't know, he's not the name or what. I feel like he worked well with Shador, and I think he worked well with implementing the run game. And if we just see Coach Prime make him not run the ball, I mean, you was close. I mean, you had the 12-0. You barely lost to Kansas State, which it was some weird stuff going on with the calls and stuff like that. Now Nebraska, I think that was play calling a lot. Play calling, like you got to adjust your play calling. They adjusting to you, you got to adjust to them. Yeah, the line not doing this, you're not doing that, but you gotta call the plays that they're gonna be successful with. We'll see the field next year. That's possible. Some of those guys. If we had a tight end and Michael Harrison, then I didn't get the whole idea that he wasn't big enough. He was effective. Like you look at Shannon Sharp and all those guys, one of the biggest guys. But boy, they was if you were heavy towards receiving, you should be looking for receivers. We lost the other guy from overseas, and like, he's not a good enough blocker. Okay, we got multiple tight ends for multiple looks. You should be running 3-4 tight ends anyway, and have a pass threat that can go out there. Smalls was not a pass threat. Man, not. I don't know, man. I don't know. You would know. If you would know who it is for sure. That's Shador gone because everybody been blaming Shador. Yeah, we got some real tight ends. We got one that got hurt this year, which is hurt. Um, and then I know we got a couple more tight ends, big boy tight ends that come in. I want to see all of them on the field. I want to see some double tight end sets because I want you. You know we're gonna run it because we got that running quarterback, and you're gonna have to key in on him and let them tight ends release upfield and eat up the middle of that field. I want to get vertical, basically. I want to see some vertical stuff. I don't want to see a bunch of sideways action. That don't benefit you. You say it's quick, it's like the running game, but the linebackers, everybody, that's their strength to play everything in front of them. Make them run with you downfield. You see, you're not making them run with you down the field, then you're not really benefiting from your speed. You keep him in front of the guy where he can see him, he can make a play, and that's what they're doing. It's crowded, it's congested. They got run lanes, they're disciplined, they making tackles in the backfield. What was Travis Hunter more dangerous? Was Travis Hunter more dangerous behind the line on the screen plays, or was he more dangerous vertically? Why are we throwing Travis the ball sideways? He juggling the ball, That is not his strength. Jimmy Horn last year and this year. Why are we throwing? We wonder why Jimmy dropped the ball. He only was dropping balls when you throwing it to him standing like this. He's not dropping the ball when he's 20, 30 yards downfield. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I think McCrimmon left early. Yeah. Smalls got 2 left feet. The Smalls a senior, I believe. I would think because he already was like last year. He was already like 3 years. He did it. I think he was at Washington a couple years. And then he came to us. Smalls, he say 2 left feet and 2 left hands. He looks like a defensive player trying to play offense. I don't know. I think he's a bit time in high school. I don't. He just he look uncomfortable. His route running is stiff, not fast. It's almost like he's jogging. He falling over himself. Hart got hurt, like we said. So we'll see what he got. I think that's the one from Ohio State. But the problem is, you should have had more tight ends. You let Mateja leave. You didn't have enough tight ends. You really should have 4, 5 tight ends that can play. And you really should be rotating them. And some of them get hurt and stuff like that. You gonna need at least, it's like running backs. You need 2 to 3 tight ends that's playing consistently. So you need a 4th and a 5th one for backup. Maybe one young, maybe one developing. You need that, especially if you're gonna be trying to run the ball. But you definitely need tight ends who can go, what does guy say here? Vertical. We would have had 20 touchdowns if we threw vertical. Well, we would have had, yeah, because we bragging with LeJounte. We brag about Jimmy and their speed. But you throwing the ball this way. You're not benefiting them guys. Them guys are lightweight. They're 170 pounds soaking wet. They're not going to break too many tackles. So you helping the linebacker out by, all right, now you got to run past this linebacker. They can arm tackle them. They stick an arm out and clothesline them. They're small. Small guys. That's not their strength. You get them down that field and make somebody have to run stride for stride with them. That's when you said these touchdowns be through the roof. They got out of the Porter's nice. Yeah, they got a couple good tight ends. I think they got a young one too. Last year they used the line offense on short yards. They didn't do it this year. Well, I know last time they used it on like goal line. But yeah, you're in the red zone. I don't know. It really no excuse. We know what can be done. Gibson. Is that tight end? Yeah, we know Small was moved from tight end. What's going on? To control how we strain through the ISP. Yeah, VPN. The VPN work good for you? I don't know how my I have a VPN. I don't know if I got it set up on my box. I do have a VPN. I do have a VPN. I don't think I use it. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, we got that young freshman. He gonna, like I said, he gonna be the new Jimmy Horn. LeJounte, I know we got Farrakhan coming down there. Wow. Michael is gonna be there. What do you mean Allen say he's not gonna play anywhere near this level? Yeah, send me how you use your VPN and let me know how your VPN is, I guess, making a difference in your box, Alan. You can send me information about that. I haven't really been, but I do have a VPN. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's weird because I know what Shador can do. I feel like a lot of ways Shador like been pretty nonchalant about just dominating. Like he really could dominate. He really could 4, 5 touchdowns game, like I said at the beginning of the season. But he'll get up there, he'll get a lead on you, he'll get like laid back, chill, I'm good. Maybe even throw an interception or two, just get bored, what I said. But hopefully at the next level, he be more locked in because it'd be more of a challenge. I don't know where he's going to go to start. He probably need to be able to sit back. I don't know. Because I hate to see a top quarterback go to a sorry team and then be expected to carry that team. I don't like that. Teams like the Giants and the Bears and all that, they make quarterbacks look bad because they saw it for a reason. And they're not going to block for him. We know what that looked like. He ain't really had a chance to flourish. In Colorado, he didn't have a line, a scheme, or whatever. We can't fully say what's him or not. I hate to see him go through that at the pro level because it look like it's him. But really, just he in the same situation. He in a program that's struggling, and nobody really want to see that. I don't want to see that. I don't like running back coach. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say, man. They did all right at Jackson, but you said that's a different level. I don't know. Why you say you're gonna play better, Allen? Like, what's gonna make the difference? I hope his line is a difference. Yeah, he got some bad. Yeah. So he might need to sit down a little bit. Kind of like what we saying with Juju. But Juju may have to sit down a little bit just from a maturity standpoint, give his body a chance to develop, get used to all these different stuff. Because not only he's a freshman graduating a year early, not a semester, a year in a semester early. So slow starts, holding the ball, running and keeping it. Yeah, I agree. I agree with the fact, like running the ball when we should be throwing, stand in the pocket where you should be running. Some of them guys be wide open and you kind of like force it. Well, sometimes you get locked in. Like, I'm gonna get this ball. I'm gonna get the ball to this particular player, and then somebody be wide open and you force it to a guy with 2-3 players on them, jump ball situation. Somebody wide open middle of the field. It ain't your ability not to be able to read as much as it is you like. I'm gonna make this happen, and not always read it. I like Shador and run. It's going to be different. I definitely think running quarterbacks are more difficult for college players and coaches to deal with because you got to think about the fact that it's easier to prepare for a one-dimensional quarterback or a guy that you can predict than a guy who can, you cover well and he still take off. That's why that Kansas State quarterback was the issue. He didn't really have a lot of weapons. He had like one receiver, maybe two. He had a couple good tight ends, which that's a typical college team. And Colorado don't want to load it all up and don't know how to use it. The quarterback, they had a good running back. Dylan Edwards was decent. They had a couple tight ends, a couple receivers, and it was hard to really do anything because that quarterback, when you did cover, he can take off. The only issue that they had is that they don't have the weapons. They had a good running back, but they don't have a whole lot of weapons at receiver. That is the weakness of Kansas State. If they had like a Travis Hunter and a LeJounte on that team with Kansas State, it would have been dangerous because they had the guy that number one, he was decent. But you imagine you put a couple more good receivers with him in them tight ends. Put it like this. If you put Shador up there and his receiver core at Kansas State, they would have been in the playoff. They would have been in the playoff. Just take their offense. Just take the receivers and the quarterback. Keep their running back. Keep their line. Just swap that out. And Kansas State would have been where Arizona State at. Keep the scheme, all this stuff. Leave the scheme in Colorado. Leave all that. That's the kind of stuff that you kind of look at like they got one, but they don't have the other. Colorado had the players, but I'm telling you, they lack the scheme. They lack the scheme. It is what it is. He got to be, and he had a better pocket presence. Now I don't know. I mean, you can't compare pocket presence of anybody because they're in a different situation. Shador is in the pocket, and they blitzing the mess out of him. I doubt they blitzing the mess out of that running quarterback because you got to keep somebody at second level. You're a fool to blitz everybody with that quarterback. He'll run right past you while you blitz. All it takes is you to try to overdo your, over pursue, or your lineman get pushed off a path and he gone. It ain't nobody at the second level. So you got a running quarterback. You gonna have at least one and two linebackers have to stay back and kind of spy on that quarterback, because if he get gone, he gone. Because your DB is gone, and your line blitzing, and they going all around, and they stunting, and all he needs is that right there. He ain't no linebacker finna get to him, and that's what we ran into when we had them running quarterback, and we didn't know how to keep our linebackers back at the second level. We didn't, and it either was the quarterback that was running all over him or the running back because of that second level. So they would have beat BYU by 40 if what? What would happen? You know what play they about to run. Them doggone bubble screens and tunnel screens. Yeah, he got an arm. The problem is accuracy. He don't have the accuracy. He has an arm. He can throw it 50 yards, 60 yards off his front foot. But I don't know about his consistent far as accuracy. Like, if he throw 20 balls, is he completing 18, 17 like Shador? Or is he throw 20 balls, he complete 10, 11 of them? Because Shador rarely overthrew. He will underthrow your man before he underthrow. He not overthrowing your guy by 5, 10 yards because he's showing off his arm. Shador will underthrow your man and he don't get a touchdown, but it's a 40-yard bomb. And sometimes, most of the time, I'd rather that happen. I'd rather you underthrow him and like, dang, he had to throw a little further out. He would have walked in his zone than for you to overthrow him by 10 yards. And it's like, all right, 3rd and 10. That's the point. If the rumors and the drop stop falling before become true, it's ultimately work in his favor because, you know what? I think from a pride standpoint and from a bragging standpoint, you want these top draft picks. I think that the system itself would love to see Coach Prime not have his son to go as a top draft pick. Now they can't stop Travis, and they fine with Travis. So I think it would be more so that than what's best for him, that they hurt people. Yeah, and this what I talked about here before the game, and this what makes me not feel sorry for him, that they didn't put Harge in there. That's the problem. I feel like Harge would have opened up the running game. He would have created a dimension in the backfield to. He's the closest thing to Dylan Edwards to me. How he move, what he can do. He can motion out of the backfield and be in the slot like how we used to use Draylon Miller. Or he can motion from the slot and be in the backfield and get a handoff. I know he's small, but he's the quickest and one of the most explosive players, and we didn't use him. And if anybody should hit the doggone port, it should have been him. Just from the standpoint of, if y'all ain't gonna use me, y'all ain't gonna value me, because I'm playing both sides. And now Harge feel like he gonna be that guy on defense that showing nickel or whatever, possibly. And maybe that's how they use him. But I think he's a bigger weapon, at least right now. I don't know what he's coming in next year and what he's gonna do. But I think they should have used him in the offense. I think he proved that he should be used in the offense in the spring game. And I think when they did put him in the backfield, he made plays, was a penalty or whatever, and they didn't use him. And I that's what gets me. I hate that they didn't use it. And it's make you very conspiracy-ish, honestly. He had great accuracy. He puts it on the money, trust. I seen him against Oregon in the championship game with less talent. He like that. We'll see, man. I mean, I know he can throw it deep, but I don't know about his short balls and stuff like that. I know he can throw it deep. And he's going to have a challenge living up to the hype. He's going to have a challenge. Shador would have did this, He's going to have to overcome. And I was hoping that Juju didn't have to go through that. So now he gets to kind of take that blunt because, people dog Shador out, but he going to be the measuring stick. going forward. Shador would have made that pass. If you're not accurate, Shador, he would have missed that many passes. So he got some shoes to live up to. No matter how we dog Shador out, it's hard to live up to somebody who consistently throwing in the mid-70s completion average. QB rating always high. He always throwing. As a matter of fact, on him throwing a 280 is a bad day. Most of the quarterbacks throwing in 200s, he throwing in 300-400s. That's what he do. When we see other quarterbacks do it, it's like, oh, he threw for 3 touchdowns from 250 yards. That's cute. But that ain't cute for Shador. So that's what we're looking at. Yeah, Mario Miller, he had his moments this year. He's another person that, for the last 2 years, really has been underused. Kind of like what I'm talking about with Harge. He's been underused. So hopefully they use him. They start to say he the guy. I think Shador talked him up. Maybe it was some inconsistency at his part as far as with the plays and what he's showing at practice and stuff like that. But he definitely, anytime he get in the game, making big plays, and he made some difference in some games. So hopefully he's healthy and strong, and you got people like him coming back. You got Timmons who did decent, who's shown some signs on the offseason. He's a bigger receiver, experienced receiver. We just brought in a guy from Tulsa who's another 6'2" guy. He's going to be a sophomore. And then you got Draylon coming back. You got Cam Michael coming back. You got Mathis coming back. You got those guys. And then you got these freshmen. You got the freshmen coming down from Texas. You got the Farrakhan, the Gibson. We got these different guys coming in. So I think you got plenty of receivers again. Your running back room, it looks like those guys are going to be coming back. So you have Brandon Hood that didn't play last year, who's going to be ready to compete. You got Welch, who's a freshman who played, will be ready to compete. And you got, as of now, Auguste and Hayden. I would think one of them hit Porter. But we'll see. But right now, you have what? 4 running backs? I don't think we're going to have a top pick in Colorado in the next 2 to 3 years. I don't know how not, because I know Seaton, he should be a top pick within the next couple years. I think one of those receivers could be a top pick. Like, whatever you call a top pick. If you're talking like top 5, then possibly you can say that. Top 10. Weapons he's not had in the school he's been at. Yeah, I think he's gonna have the weapons. I don't think it's so much the weapons as how it's gonna be used, which goes back to the scheme and the play call and everything. That's gonna determine how effective these weapons are gonna be, how effective he's gonna be. It's gonna be really left up to that. I believe that. I don't know how. I know he's a different player from Shador. I know he has different skills from Shador. And like Shador and any player, you're going to have to put the best situation for that player to be in, the best scheme, the best plays that's going to make them look the best and play the best. And I don't know if that's fully been yet to be seen, even with Shador. We can blame Shador, but I don't like them sideways passes. I don't think that benefit him. Hopefully. I mean, we gave him an extra year to develop and get stronger and get more healthy. So, got some young running back. My thing is, my only concern with it all is out of 4 of them, we don't have no running back that's 230, like an Amos. Like, we don't have no running back who's 230 plus. All those running backs are the same. 210, 205, 215, no more than that. I think Auguste is the biggest one. He can go put on some weight and maybe get a 220, 225. That would be ideal because we don't have no big boy running back. And we don't have no big boy running back, you don't have no big boy short down. That, We're not worried about, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. He could be a top pick, depending on how the season go. Um, we'll see. It depends a lot about how the season go. He's trying to cut outside when he was. Yeah, he was the one who do it all the time. Welsh was the one who tried to bounce it out, trying to bounce it out, and instead of getting the first down. And he's done at least 2 games I saw. I don't think Welsh gonna be 230. He's too short. If he do, he gonna be too. He ain't gonna have no speed. Welch is too short. We're not. That's the problem too. All our running backs the same height. All of them like 5'10". Um, Welch is thick right now, and he ain't in 230. Welch can, with his height and his build, he can be 215, and he not even that, and look big. We need a running back who's 6'2", 6'1" at the short, 6'2". They can be kind of slim and be 230, but not too slim. See what I'm saying? We look at not BJ Green. You look at Hill Green, he was 230 linebacker. Look how big he looked over everybody. Look how he was hitting everybody. 6'2", 230. That's what a 230 looked like. So imagine a 230 at running back. Imagine Hill Green being a running back. That's what Amos was. Amos was a guy who was 6'2", 230. He big as Hill Green playing running back. That's what Colorado need. That's what they've been needed. That's what they need. Because if we don't have that big boy back there, the pound away, to balance out all our running backs same size. All our running backs same size. All of them same height. Same. Auguste's the tallest one, and he's slim. He's slim, and he about 215. So Auguste can easily put on another 15 pounds of muscle and be a big boy. I think that's the best thing for him. He got decent speed. If he get that size with it, put on muscle. Cause Auguste arms small, his legs are not the smallest, but they're not big. If Auguste go eat, hit the weight room, eat, hit the weight room, goddamn run. From now until July, I know he can put on 15, 20 pounds. Yeah. Yeah. You want a big boy running back. That's why Alabama used to run over. They had people like Henry, Ingram, all them boys they had. They came through Alabama in that span, back to back to back. Jacob, all them running backs was 6'2", 230. Everybody talks about SEC, big line. No, SEC is the home of the big running backs. Look at Georgia. All them running backs was big. All them running backs was big. I'm in Georgia. I know. They ain't have no little running backs. They always talk about big linemen. These SEC teams know for big running backs. Remember Cadillac Williams at Auburn. They weren't having no little bitty rinky-tink running backs. The rinky-tink running backs was in the Pac-12. Oregon. West Coast team. They don't want to have them little running backs. The Big 12. Not Big 12. Big 10. Ohio State. All them. They had big running backs. Really? Everybody had big running backs except like the Pac-12. They had them little running backs. Except, we seen like Beast Mode out there and stuff like that. And he wasn't the biggest. But that's what Colorado needs. Everybody talking about the SEC linemen. They need some SEC running backs, some SEC linebackers. Your linebackers need to be like Hill Green. That's why you see that when he went to Alabama. You got linebackers hitting like that, and you finally got your trenches right, and then you got your linebackers come up 230 hit. Like, is Jeremiah Brown staying, like you say, his behind needs to get it now and put on another 15, 20 pounds too. Well, you said big, they ain't got big bats now. I said back in the day. Georgia don't have no big bats now. That ain't what Georgia got now. We talking about when Henry and all them boys in Alabama, all them. It's just like you said, Alabama got big running backs now. That ain't Alabama that I'm talking about. They ain't got them big running backs like when I came up. The Big Ten may have the big running backs now, and that's why it's showing. But they always had big running backs with Eddie Jordan, all them folks. But the king of the big running backs used to be the SEC. Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. You know, the big running backs. The teams that were dominant had big running backs. And with them big linemen. The quarterback ain't have to do nothing. Hand the ball off, throw a couple passes. They didn't have no great quarterbacks in the SEC. And the SEC ain't never had great quarterbacks. You can't name them. I mean, Tebow did had his time, but that's not what SEC was known for. SEC was known for the trenches, but the trenches were nothing. And they had a 200. They had a 180-pound running back in the backfield. The only person who got away with that mess was Percy Harvey, and even was over like 200, and he squat like 1,000 pounds. He was the only running back I remember back in the day that was like a smaller running back that got away with that mess in the SEC, and he was strong as ox. But that's what Colorado need. I don't know if it's coming. I like the running backs they have, but it's no diversity in that room where you just run over somebody, intimidate somebody. They're all short and low to the ground running backs. That's cute. I think that's what maybe the style they were looking for, but I think Amos messed that up. Well, y'all let me know what y'all think, y'all. I'm gonna close this thing out. Make sure y'all like. Make sure y'all share. Make sure y'all subscribe. If you're watching, if you ain't yet, go ahead and subscribe right now. You see at the bottom of the screen. And also check out defeatcable.com for your TV needs, movies, TV, shows, live TV. Somebody asked me the other day, can I get my local channels? You get local channels everywhere. You get local channels here, local channels there, and all across the country, you get local channels. And that becomes real cool when you can't get certain games. You just cut it on the local channel and watch them. Instead of have to watch, what your market shows. So make sure y'all check that out. And with that, I'm Greg said it. I'll be talking to y'all soon. Y'all have a good rest of your Sunday.